Yo. Yeah. Lost in Hip Hop. You can give me a little more volume on it, a little bit. DJ Concept, Mickey Knox, Mr. Menza in the spot.
We are live on Twitch.
Yeah.
Live on Twitch.
Brought to you by
Ewing Athletics. Now let me do it really well.
Do it the right way.
Welcome Lost in Hip Hop. DJ Mickey Knox, DJ Concept, Menza with us. Brought to you by Ewing Athletics. We got a very dope guest tonight.
Yeah, we do. Producer, engineer,
running a full legendary label over there.
Yo, Knox, you gotta get that mic close to
playmaker, man.
There you go.
I like to really refer to myself as a playmaker because I'm not afraid to let anybody else win.
I love the term sidewalk executive.
Me too.
Yeah, it's dope.
Shouts to Lil Fame.
Yeah. Dare we say golfer?
Yes, avid golfer.
What do you shoot?
What do you shoot? Like he knows.
Concept, right?
I know Concept can play some golf too.
I'll play with him.
Yeah. Come on, man. Of course you know we play some golf.
Yeah, I'm probably high 90s. I'm still working on my game.
Yo, we got BooGeyMan in the house.
I appreciate y'all, man.
BooGeyManBeats.
That's a fact.
BooGeyManBeats.
When I'm on my production tip, BooGeyManBeats. I got to figure that part out, but yo, Boogie.
Boogie. So, yo, let's do this. Take it back for the people a little bit. Let them know who you are for the people who don't know who BooGeyMan is.
So I was an engineer, right?
Exactly.
My passion for music and just got me started working with a lot of artists. And, you know, I was really afraid to play my production for people. And once I got confident in that, you know, I became a super producer.
Yo, I'll never forget. I will never forget. Like, I know you were as an engineer, right? As a friend and shit. This guy engineered part of my Planet Asia album. And then one night he was like, yo, I'm gonna play some tracks. And he started playing beats and I'm like, what the fuck? I didn't even know.
Yeah.
Yo, it's funny as a producer, man. You gotta be willing to be vulnerable and put yourself out there.
100%.
I could see Knox going through that now. Because you gotta jump out the window and have somebody like interpret what your music and do they like it or not? Do they respect it or not?
Right.
It's the biggest thing. So once I started getting respect as a producer, then
I never knew that you were a producer and we worked together so closely on so much music, bro.
I was like, yo, I used to be like, yo, Menza, let me play you something. He's like, yeah. And at the end of the session, it's like, oh, I see you. And I'm like, all right, fuck it, next time.
Yo. And then, you know, you evolved into this like super producer. It really is. You're right on the precipice of that actual tag being solidified for you.
I appreciate that.
Right. You're under the tutelage of one of the legendary.
You know, that man's taught me a lot. Erick Sermon kind of took me under his wing and gave me the confidence to be able to play my beats for Menza, DJ Concept, Mickey Knox.
Right.
You know what I mean? With confidence and feel like I could step into any room and it's like, all right, y'all playing beats? Like, I got my little connection. You know what I'm saying? I got my shit on my phone.
So how did that happen? How did you hook up with Erick Sermon?
So, you know, I was interning at this studio out in Central Islip, Long Island, and obviously we were doing a lot of work out of the studio, and, you know, it just so happened that studio folded. Yeah. And we ended up, one of the owners of the studio was EPMD's first DJ Diamond, the artist. Right. So when we closed down the studio, you know, it was right around the time EPMD was about to start going back on the road. So Diamond, you know.
Shout out to DJ Diamond, the artist.
Kind of connected the dots. And, you know, once I linked with Erick, say 2016, we've been in lockstep ever since. And, you know, with him, I try to take the role of more just whatever he needs, the executive side of things. Right. And, you know, I can get to my production just being around the Rock Wallahs, Top Fifes, of course, Concepts, Mickey Knox. Of course, you're going to, you know, pick up a few things. Right. So, you know, I started taking production seriously and, you know.
Yo, one of the things that always stood out to me about you was that you just approached it all so professional. Yes. And it was like, I never had to worry about the unprofessional side of where we had nightmare stories with,
absolutely,
you know, timing, scheduling, engineering, mixing.
All is 100% professional.
Right. And it stood out as like your demeanor is very professional, cool, calm, collective. And your position where you're at right now speaks to how you you handled yourself this whole time. Like so many years of being like this stand-up guy as an engineer, as a producer, and as an executive.
Let me tell you something. There's something different about my story, and everybody's gonna come up and say that, but I work a 9 to 5, and this whole time when I went to school for engineering, I always was into production since high school. But I really wanted to take it serious, and it just so happened that the job that I was at, I work in IT, so I always knew that I was going to be able to combine the tech and the audio.
Gotcha.
And one day it would eventually evolve to that. And I
great
worked
call.
in 95
That's
since
dope.
2000. Since I graduated school. So y'all would see we couldn't start sessions until 7 p.m. because I'm jumping off the train.
Waiting for
my
Boogie
work
and worth the wait. I first met you at BPM, and you were introduced to me by, God rest his soul, my brother who passed away, Sequoia. We called him Sec.
Rest in
And
Rest in peace, Sec.
Mickey Knox, who's one of my best friends and brothers from high school, just said, yo, I'm doing this music thing, and you love hip hop. Like, why don't you try this out? I was doing mortgages and real estate and all that type of stuff. To come in and then meet this group of people, which Concept was one of them as well, and people were just so nice and professional. It wasn't a shit show.
I mean,
BPM was handled like a nice, cool room. Like we had great sessions.
Yeah.
And I wasn't soured to the music business because guys like you kept it so.
Appreciate that.
It's all about keeping it like professional like that. But what I think is the most incredible thing about Boogie, aside from his production and his engineering, is that like he was an engineer, right? And then he was coming up and he was always into production. But then he got to the point with Erick Sermon, and tell me if I'm wrong. You got to the point with Erick Sermon where you're bringing him samples, right? You're like finding samples for him.
Absolutely.
I mean, that's like a legendary fucking thing right there.
Right. That's I wanted to get into that too. So now you working at Def Squad, you engineering over there. How did you just approach her? Like, I make beats. How did that come about? And then how did he take you under and be like, yo?
One day, it happened just like this. I just happened to be at the studio, and Eric pulled up, and I'm just the only one there.
Right.
And so immediately, I always am one to just play my position.
Can I make that point? That you were in the position of playing your position, which at that point was an engineer.
Yes.
And even like an engineer's assistant.
Yeah. Assistant.
Okay.
I was introduced to him as an intern, which didn't sit well with me.
Gotcha.
Because of the last situation I was in. I was more than an engineer. I felt like I was keeping the studio open.
100%.
Especially with some of the stuff that we were doing. Yes. So it just so happened that, once we migrated over there, I was trying to be productive and just be around for when Eric ran into a problem. And he walked in and he's just like, yo, you never talk. He's like, yo, you never really talk. So like, yo, what do you really do? And I'm like, yo, so I'm an engineer, but I started as a producer. And he's like, play me something. And I'm just like, I got nothing to play Erick Sermon.
Oh, wow.
So I kind of like went into the, what I thought was hot at the time, which and now I listen to it, it's like, yo, I'm surprised this guy even fuck with me. But I think he fuck with my vibe more than anything. I helped him get into his creative zone.
You're a very cool dude, man.
Appreciate that.
Yeah, and you didn't jump in and be like, yo, I'm a producer. Get me on.
In my years at Def Squad, which was only about 2.5 or something like that, but it was an amazing time.
A lot of fun.
Oh my God, what times?
We sit there and talk about these nights.
Yo,
Sweet 3, the documentary coming soon.
What's great is like, I got scolded by E for not picking a beat of yours before E even knew you. Like, it's not like it was in the time where he was like, yo, he played you a beat last night, you didn't like it? No. He's like, you passed up on that beat 5 years ago.
Oh, you know what that was?
For the
that
seasons
was season
change for nature.
Season change.
He was like, what? I said,
I'm gonna use it just because you don't want to. I'm gonna use it. That's my dog, man.
Yeah, man.
So at that time too, Eric came out with Vernia.
Yeah.
And you got production on
it. It just so happened that like not too far after that time where he's like, play me something.
Right.
And it's a funny story because he's like, yo, send me that. So I kind of felt like he was just like, yo, send me that.
Right.
Yeah. Like, I'm gonna throw it on my computer and then maybe somebody here that'll rap on it.
Yeah.
And for the week, you know, maybe like 4 days later, he's like, yo, did you send me that? I'm like, no, I'm about to. He's like, yo, look, I'm Erick Sermon. I don't need you to send me nothing. So he's like, yo, so if I ask you to send it, I'm not going to ask you again. And then I sent him a pack. And one of the joints that was on there, he's just like, yo, the way that my style is coming around like that. He's like, yo, that shit is fire. He's like, I'm going to put Raekwon on it. Yo, I'm like, okay. And then he's like, yo, I'm going to put Rick Ross. And then, you know, it fell through with that. And then Nori got on it.
Yeah. And little do people know there's a version of that had to be modified too.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
Sample. That's that was one of my first lessons in the music game, like when you're doing it on a
But see, like these are little tidbits of info that on Lost in Hip Hop. By the way, we're live on Twitch. What up, Twitches?
Yeah.
And that is like little things that hip hop heads want to know. Like was there not? Like I heard the story where Havoc dropped Henny on the board and lost the original version of Survival of the Fittest and all that. All those types of stories we want to hear. You know what I mean?
Down to engineers stealing the hard drive.
Oh God!
You know, think about that, and then that stretched the point in life to where it's like, yo, you got to back up your file so that can never happen.
Yeah.
We've been there, man. It was almost gone.
Yeah, we've been there.
You know what? Let's get into my style off of Erick Sermon, Vernia.
Yeah.
Produced by BooGeyMan, and we'll get back into it. Lost in Hip Hop brought to you by Ewing Athletics.
Yeah.
Mickey Knox.
What up,
Concept,
Twitches?
Menza. We got BooGeyManBeats in the house. Stay tuned,
Stay
y'all.
relevant.
Yeah.
Relevant.
Oh yeah, Lost in Hip Hop. DJ Mickey Knox on the set.
Whoa.
Mr. Menza, DJ Concept. We got BooGeyMan in the spot.
What up? Yeah. Usually behind the boards, but now I'm behind the camera.
That's good. I like it. I like it.
Where you belong, kid.
That's a fact.
All right, can I talk about TrackLib for a minute?
Yes, sir.
Right.
Yeah,
So
shout out to TrackLib.
yeah. So I feel like, and correct me if I'm wrong, you were pretty much there for the creation of TrackLib,
Yes,
right?
sir. Yes,
so
sir.
talk to us a little bit about what that is and like how that came about with Eric and everything like that.
I'm glad you brought that up. TrackLib is like a digital library. So
I think about it.
Do you use it?
yeah, I actually
use
do.
it.
I think about it as digital digging.
Yeah,
Shout out to
That's exactly what
TrackLib
it is.
and
The legal way.
The legal, right?
You make sure, and the one thing I always look at artists nowadays is like, oh, how can you sit there and want somebody to buy your record when you're not giving back to the person whose record you took from?
Right.
So it's kind of like a backward thing.
It's a great way of looking at it.
So when a company like TrackLib comes out and it allows you to work at our level, you don't need to sit there and work on, get lawyers involved to write up these contracts and stuff. That costs. That's why
clear
people
samples.
stop. That's why people stop sampling.
I understand.
You know, so TrackLib makes it very easy.
It made it easy for
5
producers that have a shoestring budget to be
Yes.
able to clear a sample or use something that they're not going to get copyright infringed on.
Right.
Yeah, 100%.
And now a lot of the distributors are wanting some kind of proof once they detect the sample, because TrackLib now has collaborations with United Masters, DistroKid, so their library is flagged
Gotcha.
once you use too much of it.
Understood.
So TrackLib is a digital library, like you said, and
Yeah, word.
by your subscription, you're able to search their library, download all the samples you want for free, and then once you use it, you have to report it and then report your earnings. So,
I was lucky enough to meet Tom Silverman,
yes,
who is one of the founders of TrackLib and also the founder of Tommy Boy, and go up to his office with Naughty by Nature, and it was really dope. And
super dope.
the model that was the brand that they were pushing at the time was so a startup. It was like such like in the infancy, and now to actually see like so many people use TrackLib for sample clearance is
Let me tell you
amazing,
something,
bro.
I just had to clear a record last week. It was really my first time having to use the system and not just hitting pair on the line.
Really?
On WhatsApp.
After this many years?
Yeah. I never
wow.
really, because obviously you don't get to that point until somebody uses
So
the
somebody,
record.
I get that.
You know,
That's
shout
dope
out
to hear.
Shout out to Dro Hef. You know, we got a project coming out, and
Dope.
so you know, one of the things got flagged.
I got you.
Went to TrackLib, 5 minutes. I got the document
So the sample was originally taken from Tracklib, is what you're saying?
Yeah. Once
Okay,
he sent me
gotcha.
the session, he said it got flagged. I asked him which beat, kind of went back to the session, and I seen what I sampled. So I'm like, okay. Then I seen they're in business with United Masters.
Through your subscription, doesn't that cover the sample though?
Yes, it
he's
covers
saying,
it covers the price of the sample. So at the end of the day, it's just the splits. They tell you what to put on the splits, and then
Gotcha.
the original writer gets the credit. So it's literally
Excellent.
in 5 minutes you get your certificate, and boom, you're on your way. You upload
Concept.
it.
Have you
amazing.
used Tracklib?
I never did. No.
I use Tracklib.
Okay.
I would
shout
love
out to
that.
Tracklib.
I gotta get in there.
Shout out to Tracklib because they really made it a point. You know, I'm one of the beta testers, so
Yes.
the mobile app and stuff
Yes.
like that. They send it to me. I get access to it. They send and this is all courtesy of Erick Sermon because he's one of the board members. So
Yes.
that's kind of what linked
Absolutely.
me to Tracklib.
I was waiting for you to say it.
So just me being the liaison. I'm finding the inner workings because tech is my thing. And,
Yeah.
Yeah, what a great position to be in, knowing that you have the background in the IT and all that. It's just good, man. It's just good shit.
It worked out, man. Like in the beginning, I had a dream.
Yeah.
And I just knew that the tools I needed to do what I needed to do. And unfortunately, the big studios closed down, so I had to pivot. And I was able to pivot in a way that music and technology became one and the same at this point. So now I'm a jack of all trades with that. I'm a
Yeah.
Swiss Army knife because
bro,
you can't just get into tech.
No.
And you have to be that way. It has to be a multi-skilled professional in this content game now.
For sure.
You have to add
Music-
value.
Like
too.
we are all hybrid professionals.
Yes.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
We can handle multitask and multi, like different roles and different hats.
Yep.
I mean, you wear them so well though, brother.
Yeah,
I
but let me
appreciate
ask you
that.
this question because I don't really know. Like, whose idea was Tracklib? Like, who said I'm going to make this platform where you could dig for samples and you could clear them like that?
Yeah.
Because sometimes it's a nightmare when you got to look on the record, try to contact people.
Yeah.
It's
To even have the contacts
a nightmare.
alone, the resources to sit there and comb all these repertoires of publishing to find out to know who to email and then like who's to say you get a response and then are you gonna I've seen some of these responses and on bigger records and I'm like, whoa,
I
you
know.
can't make money in the music business when you're paying $100,000 for a sample.
You know, we've been in the trenches together in the days of when things have deadlines and certain clearances have to happen. You're still going through those types of things present day, but in those days of the Vernia, it was intense, bro. And the numbers coming back and everything, and I couldn't believe the numbers that you actually as a what we would call like a big box label pricing for an independent. But because Erick's name is such an entity, like he's such a force in the music game, that anything he puts out is under scrutiny in terms of if the sample was cleared or not.
They come hunting for it.
Of course.
One thing I also learned, because once this project went to 300, now it's a different ball game. It's different than, you know what I mean? You're having to
Understood,
speak with
definitely.
A&Rs and the A&Rs has assistants that are on the call to recording the Zoom to be able to dictate it later on and Excel spreadsheets going back and forth with the sample person. And these labels have a person that's an audio forensic person that, he has to put
Audio forensic.
John Hancock on the project before it's able to be released.
Wow.
Because the parent company is Warner. So Warner's biggest business is Warner Chappell, which is publishing for the creators. So it's like it works hand in hand. So you're kind of signing over that portion of your control.
Understood.
So it's a nasty thing that kind of changed hip hop. I really feel like that's what changed hip hop.
So-
is people not wanting
wait,
to
hold
go
on.
through that nasty
I don't mean to
part.
cut you off. Can we get the answer to what I was saying,
All right,
which
talk to
was
me.
whose idea was it?
So
Because
it was-
I asked the question
it was,
and the people want to know.
The person that I met was a guy named Per from Sweden.
Okay.
And
Shout out to Per.
he had partnered with some execs from Spotify.
Okay.
And they came up with the idea, I guess, with the climate of streaming music and making sure that publishing gets distributed correctly. And they ran into a problem, so they kind of tried to get ahead of it. And it's like, you know what, we want to bring sampling back into music. And not just hip hop, and give creators an opportunity to make money off of their music.
Yeah.
So it doesn't matter, like we can put samples up on Tracklib,
Right.
and then people sample us.
Right,
So it's
right.
like, the Splice and all these things, they don't have original sample, but Tracklib goes and negotiates deals with people with catalog.
Yeah.
And works out the deal prior to it. So you just, by subscribing with them, you get access to that. But there's a guy named Pear with a couple Spotify executives. They built the blueprint. They got the startup going, and then, you know, picked board members that kind of solidify it. So they gave Erick access to the library first, and we're digging through it. We're like, whoa. There was
3
samples.
board members. Right? It was Erick, it was Tom Silverman, it was somebody else, I believe.
Yeah. Well, Deborah Manis.
Right.
And she kind of was an integral part of that because she's the biggest clearance lady in the business.
Right. So respect to her because she's made a name for herself in all of the hip hop business and entertainment in general.
Your favorite albums were cleared by Deborah Manis. Deborah Manis guarded DMG clearances.
Wow.
Yeah, lots of respect in that direction. So now we have this duos project that is duos. In, you know, because again, like we have a lot of history together. You know, we had a hand in the sense of working on the duos even in 2018. It's like kind of like when it started. When
the idea came into like, can we really do this?
Yes.
And then once the people start coming by the studio, it's like, okay, this is possible. We can start with one record and then see where we're at.
I remember, you know, when Fame came and laid his verse. So, you know, all that good stuff. But, you know, fast forward and here we are.
Real quick.
Yeah.
People don't know about.
Yeah,
for those that don't know what the duos, please, you know.
So Erick Sermon has a concept album, no pun intended, dropping. It's titled by Dynamic Duos, and you know he really thought about just what would it sound like, you know, because everybody, when you're around Erick, his energy is so infectious that you want to kind of give him ideas like, yo, you should do a song with, you know, start giving him wish list shit.
Right.
Yeah.
And then when the idea came, he's like, yo, I wonder what that would sound like. And he's like, you know what, I should do duos, you know what I mean?
Absolutely.
And
because who a better duo than EPMD?
Right.
You know what I mean?
So, you know, I'm sure it started from like EPMD needs a new album. He's like,
right.
You can get one song and then
yo,
maybe
Rockwilder played this one beat that I was like, yo, if this is not an EPMD beat, I'm like, I don't know what is.
Yo, shout out to Rock because I believe Rock has, I think they did like 3 songs that Rockwilder kind of coordinated this.
I mean, Rockwilder is a musical. Shout out to Rockwilder. He's a musical genius.
Different.
Like unbelievable the type of sounds that
I just want to
together.
say this real quick.
Yeah.
About my Sweet 3 experience. I just don't know that, you know, there were certain people that took it as serious as it was. I wanted to make sure that business first and then there's all the time to play.
Yes.
But just, you know, to tell a story that I'm in the studio with Erick Sermon in one room creating, Rockwall's in the other room, and Ty Fife is in the other room.
Yeah, that's ridiculous.
It was
and
incredible.
I'm able to just, they welcomed me to where I can just open the door, see that they're working, and then kind of walk in, sit on the couch, and just close the door and just stare at their screen, watch what they're doing on the. There's people. Everybody gatekeeps.
Yeah.
Nowadays, because it's like, yo, I can't let Mickey see because what's Mickey gonna do if he see how I do it?
Right.
You know, so just being around those guys and be able to like take something from each of them and see where you got it, you got that from him, kind of thing. Being able to play them beats like that video that went, I'm gonna say it's viral. Fuck that. When Havoc came to the studio, everybody was just up front, and because everybody was busy, I'm like, yo, I got right here,
bro. Like
I took off from work.
Yeah, we were there
because I'm like, Havoc's come by.
Yo, look,
I'm there today.
I didn't want to use this time to do any kind of like name dropping. I'm just letting you.
Fuck that. It's I'm name dropping because you can be humble to so much, and
I don't think it's name dropping.
Look, I love that.
You know what's
what we do?
I had said to Erick at that time, like, you're Erick Sermon. You know you can get Havoc here. Huh? Like, however it works out with the phone game, it's like, I got Havoc there. And it's like, the way that all played out, just, it set the tone because that was the first time that we like had a name like come by. And then he came with Albert. Shout out to Albert who called me today, and I got to call you back, my bad.
Yeah,
he came by with the Benz and the ill suit, like, and showed up with Havoc. I said, "Yo, bro,
he came to the Christmas
this dude
party
really came with an agent, bro." And that's how Albert represented himself. They're doing amazing with the Mobb Deep album right now, and it has to be so refreshing to E to see that this genre of music, our boom bap, our lane
Yeah,
still
for sure.
makes headlines. You know what
I
mean?
think there's some comfort that comes with I'm not alone.
Yes.
Absolutely.
When he was planning on coming out, and that was a big delay because a person like that is very conscious of their music because they're aware of their legacy and what they've done.
Yeah.
And it has to be a certain level. It's not just like, you know what I mean, like somebody just trying to put out music. It's like, you know, it's breaking them out of that mold of this has to be perfect. I don't care if it takes 3 years. And it's like, you know, it's a different climate now. So you're seeing these guys transition. And I'm just proud to say that I had input on
For sure.
Erick Sermon's new upcoming album, Dynamic Duos. And it's really just him producing his favorite duos. It's not, I want to say he's not rapping, but obviously EPMD and there's The Treat with Eric and 38 Special.
Gotcha.
You know, that's the No Gimmicks remix.
Yep.
Produced by Erick Sermon.
Yeah. The remix, but the original produced by BooGeyManBeats.
That's a fact. We dropped that in May.
We're gonna play that for him next, right?
Yes.
And you know, so I came up with the concept. I'm like, yo, E, why don't you do an Erick Sermon remix to the record? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Obviously, shout out to y'all for facilitating 38
No
Special.
doubt. Special, you know, bro.
And I'm like, who do I put on the record with 38 Special for my project? I'm like, Erick Sermon.
It's crazy.
I'm like,
Shout
Erick
out
Sermon.
to 38 Special. He's a good friend of the family's.
Eric wrote that at the crib.
And they came
to my
here.
crib and wrote it.
You know, linked up. We
Yeah, that was dope.
That's a fact. Like
Yeah.
he was like, "Who you gonna put on it at first?" And I'm like, "I don't know. I'm trying to think." And he's like, "Send me the instrumental." I'm like, "Whoa, I didn't even think of that." So he's like, "Yeah, I think I got the verse." He came over and he's like, "No, I'm gonna start over."
That's
and he
great.
wrote the verse in front of me, and then he left himself a voice note. 2 days later, and he's like, "Yo, check your phone."
So, yo,
It's really crazy to me because when some of my favorite moments when we all worked at Def Squad together was, you know, those private performances Eric would give us sometimes, you know. And then you telling me this guy went to your crib to write
To the crib. He pulled up. He pulled up to
crazy.
the crib and was
That's
like, "Yo, put on that beat."
Crazy.
He said, "What? Oh my God, is this happening right now?"
see, what a lot of people, what a lot of people and a lot of hip hop fans may not completely understand is that where we're from, where we're born and raised, okay, me, Central Islip, Long Island,
Brentwood,
Boogeyman,
Long Island.
Brentwood, Long Island.
Brentwood,
okay?
Long Island, man. This guy's been a legend.
All right, we're
before
from
that.
the area of these legends. So
Crazy.
working for Erick Sermon, being part of I would sit there,
Childhood dreams,
look, right here on the corner, which has the seafood place. I sat and ate fried soft shell crab with Erick Sermon on the water. And it's just me and him eating, and I'm saying to myself, I'm eating lunch with Erick Sermon. But to somebody maybe in Pittsburgh or maybe in Cleveland or somewhere else in the world, they may understand the legacy and respect it, but to us, for where we're from, to be, it is
Hometown heroes.
right, bro.
I'll tell you
And-
something. When just moving around with him, you see how much.
Oh my
you know,
God!
I don't
bro.
know if I could do that. Like he can't really do anything without somebody like stopping, and he stops for everybody, gives out his number and all that, and I'm like, I couldn't do that because I almost get
This
tired
is-
sitting
yeah.
next to him. Like
This is the exact same thing with
Yeah.
like
We trying to
you
move
know
around.
with Primo. Like when I go somewhere with Primo,
yeah, you
he'll be like,
people,
he'll be like,
notice something,
stay next to me. I'll be like, really? And he's like, just stay by me. And he'll be walking, and it's like he can't get down a hallway without 13 people being like, yo.
That's a fact.
You know,
Yeah,
it's like,
that's a fact.
but these are
I don't know
legends,
what it
and you know, like before you guys were talking about like playing beats in Def Squad, and then like I remember one of my favorite memories from that spot was that I was in there one night, and I think Rock was in the back, and he was gonna work on some music, and you were like, "Yo, come with me," and I was like, "Yo, you sure it's okay? I come." He's like, "No, come in." So we walk in there, and then Rock's like playing some beats, and then he goes, "It was me, you, Sickness. I think someone else was there," and he goes, "I was gonna work on this, but nah, yo, y'all got beats?" And he literally gave the chord, and like Sickness was playing beats, I played beats, you were playing beats, and I was like, "What the fuck is happening right now? This is Rockweiler," you know what I'm saying? But I love that they embrace. Dare I say, we're a younger generation, but like I'm old, but like younger than them, and it's like
But
they embrace that.
EPMD were gods to me.
See, they were a little bit before me.
And I understand that.
Yes.
You know, and
Yes.
not only that, but I
talked
do
about
understand how many people may have missed that 87 to 91 run, 4 years of like
Back to back to back.
perfection.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
Like,
Back to back to back.
Absolute perfection.
But at
bro.
the same time, when I got into EPMD, when they did Back in Business,
The joint.
the
That
joint.
was, like,
that's
when
when
that dropped the
that
Richter
was
scale.
my
Yeah, that was your
EPMD album.
and I was a fan, such a fan that I was like, am I gonna like this?
Back in Business, and then Out of Business was the next album, and that album was a banger too. That had the MOP. They had joints.
Yep.
That I knew. I knew those classic joints because of my older brothers and stuff.
That's a
But,
fact.
You know, when that was my high school shit. That EPMD.
Yeah. See, I'm gonna date myself.
That helped solidify it even more for me. Be like, yes, okay, I see why the older heads loved them so much.
Yeah, I'm gonna date myself because like that joint. I remember the joint when it came out.
Yeah.
That was my
Produced by
shit.
Rockwell.
But in college.
Yeah.
Because I was playing that in college,
Right.
right? On my radio
Okay,
show there.
So then,
I'm saying.
just to give you the perspective of the fact that like when Business as Usual came out in 1990, I was waiting at the store to buy the tape.
What was the store?
You're dating yourself.
Like
What store
Sam
were you at?
Goody or whatever it was in the
dating
South Shore
yourself.
Mall
Sam Goody.
over here, like
At the Busy Bee?
Garden of Manor Mall or something like that, like whatever mall that was. That
1991.
Deep Long
Yo, you
Island
mad
shit.
old, yo.
No.
You a lot older than me.
Well, I didn't even say
91.
92 is when Business Never Personal came out, but 1990 is when
That's
Business
fourth grade for
is
me.
when Business as Usual came out.
That's fourth grade for me.
Fifth grade.
So
yeah.
I was
Yeah.
11.
My sister
I was born in
graduated in
79, sir.
Okay, yeah. So that makes
Oh,
sense.
man.
I was
So I'm the
11.
old guy.
Not like I
Yeah,
went by
so-
myself. I asked my grandmother to bring me to the mall. To
So you're
buy
supposed to listen to
Business as-
EPMD.
Yes.
What else was out?
Yeah, 91.
What are you talking
Hold
about?
on, what a great
man.
segue. What a great segue into the next question, because you just said what else was out.
Yeah.
Now think about the movie documentary called 88 Fresh.
Yep.
Okay.
Yep.
Can you tell us anything about that?
Yeah.
Okay, and just the preamble, 1988, if you look it up, had 30 plus rap albums come out from all of the legends that you could think
crazy,
about,
yeah.
including Unfinished Business of EPMD, and the list goes on and on. So Eric and Bernard, shout out to Bernard Alexander, the
a
big
fact.
bro. They had this concept that was chopped up in a sizzle reel that was highlighting the year
The year of
1988, and it was
The-
called 88 Fresh.
Yeah, 88 Fresh. I believe it was picked up by Netflix. So look out for that coming soon.
Wow.
Is going into full production, and it's really just highlighting 1988, how everybody dropped. Nobody was scared to. If
Now I can name a shit ton of them, but can anybody else name some other albums?
I'm gonna pull up a list because
Oh, you!
I don't know the
great.
names, but I know Kane
Yeah,
dropped.
big that came off right on the top. G-Rap and Polo.
I don't gotta look up.
I think EPMD was the last one. I hear Eric tell the story a million times. EPMD
they
was
came
the
out in
last
November,
group.
right?
To come out. So they kind of were able to see the
Bro,
blueprint.
Special Ed, MC Light, like
Long Live the King,
yeah.
straight out of Compton.
NWA, yeah.
Christ.
Yeah.
Follow the Leader. Great Adventures of Slick Rick.
Oh, wow.
I mean, come on. By all means necessary,
Good light
Cass.
drop. Paper
I mean,
pen.
Boogie, he's the DJ, I'm the rapper. Holy
Oh
shit.
my
Life is too
God.
short. Light as a rock.
That's what
Yeah.
I said. MC Light.
Yeah, I remember
Easy
he said
does
that.
it.
He
What
heard
the
it.
fuck?
That's like literally the beginning of modern day hip-hop.
I was gonna say like, and it was encouraged because you needed to rush that barrier in mass
Yeah.
at that time.
Yeah, yeah.
Because people didn't
Yes,
even
yes.
acknowledge
They
it.
weren't
Yeah.
really accepting it. Yeah.
Yes.
So it was like,
Yeah.
yo, we have to compete.
That was like right around the time. I might be wrong about the exact year, but like Two Live Crew was under scrutiny with all
sure,
like the
they're running over
porn
the
rap and all that.
CDs
People
and shit
wanted
like
a
that.
dead hip hop.
It's
like,
funny you say that, right, because I seen Big X the Plug the other day was talking about he doesn't want to be considered a rapper, he's an artist. And I bring that up because you're saying in 88 we had to rush it like that because they weren't
It's a
taking
different,
it
it's
seriously.
a different format.
And it's you see this, the brainwash still lasted this long where people still don't here you have Big X the Plug, a major artist, still doesn't consider a rapper an artist, and that's not true. You're an artist, you're a rapper.
but
you
I
make
think-
music
yo,
and put
what
out
a
music.
great point you just made.
You're an artist.
DJ Mickey Knox.
100%.
Thank you for that anecdote. I'm serious because
quotable.
it yo, you know what's crazy? Because I have so many conversations with people that are these like executive conversations that when you reference a rapper using that word, the fucking conversation can go left.
Yes.
If you just reference them as artists, it goes further.
Yeah.
Facts.
And that's so
fact.
fucked up
It
that you
is.
just said that.
It is.
But at the end of the
pisses me
day,
off, man.
look at the rappers you know.
Right.
They don't even rap that good. So like an artist can sit there and get in the lab with another artist and leave with something. These other rappers is kind of like they can go to the studio and come on, man, what are you doing? You're wasting your time. Like look at what's coming out of when you spend 4 hours in the studio, and then if you put an artist in the studio, they're gonna come out with something.
Right.
You're right about that.
Right.
Something,
Yes,
a
absolutely.
foundation of something that tomorrow it can, it has the potential. So
I get
that's-
it, and I understand the separation, but here's the thing, right? Like just in terms of
Well, I
like-
don't think he's separating because what are you saying? The lower level guys who still haven't learned how to become the artist yet, but there are rappers at the level that they are.
The
You're an
artists,
artist.
yeah, they're artists.
You're an
We know a
artist.
lot of
they're
artists.
artists that can rap.
Right.
Yeah.
Yes.
No, well, see again.
Well,
see, you're doing it.
Yeah, I think you just
You're
did
an
it.
artist.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Just-
you're an artist.
Even
That's
if
it.
you can
Yeah.
just
Your
rap,
lyrics are just
Well, like,
you
yes.
are an artist.
That's like when people
Not an
say
artist
she's
that
a
can
good
rap.
female rapper. No,
Right. No,
she's a good artist.
rapper.
She's a
Right.
good rapper.
I want that to be the case.
Right. Right.
So I'm saying it in that way is like, but unfortunately, in
That's how we
conversations, and here's where it just boils down to how much we love this culture. We love rap music. You know what I mean? So it's like, why do I have to be ashamed to reference a rapper?
Right.
You know
Because
what I mean?
I
And
think-
have to call them artists to kind of desensitize the situation, I guess.
I think
in a
it's
sense.
because when you say you like other music, you don't say like I like rock artists. You don't kind of say like, but we're rap. You kind of
hit it on the head right
Right.
there.
He's not a rocker.
He hit it.
Right.
Right.
He's not a
It's just like
popper.
yo, you
Right.
you like music.
Right.
So
Yeah.
like when you can appreciate all types of music in different genres, then you don't have to label it a rap.
Right.
Well,
and,
look.
and again, see, they were successful in separating rap out of
You
music.
just named the Fresh Prince album. '88 came out as he's the DJ. I'm the rapper. Like what we were programmed then to not look at it like it was
Right.
a bad thing to be a rapper. You wanted. I don't know about you guys, but I loved hip hop. I wanted to be a rapper
For sure.
I mean, so
I think everyone at the
I think
table at one
nobody
time
knew
wanted
how
to be a rapper.
to. I think nobody knew how to describe it, so we had to come up with a term about like what this is.
Right.
yes,
It's like, what is that? You're not singing. So
Right.
What are you doing? It's like I'm rapping. So it's like, oh, you're a rapper
Right.
because if you sing, you're a singer.
it's
Yes.
it's
So-
incredible.
Right.
What made you fall in love with hip hop? Like, who was the artist or the beat, the producer, the
I'm gonna
album?
be honest with you. Like we were just talking about before, I was into soft rock more than anything at the time that you're talking about, 91. I really was introduced to hip hop on the first record. My dad would play all these Billy Ocean and whatever. So Patti LaBelle dropped an album and she had a feature from Big Daddy Kane called "Feels Like Another One."
Wow.
So when I heard it, I'm like, at least I can listen to this rap.
Wow.
Because I learned, and in the book it had the lyrics,
Right.
so I learned the rap and was rapping with him. I'm like, okay. So then I got the
That's a
Columbia
great story.
House, Columbia House thing in the mail. So I'm like, yo, I'm getting the Chronic, Doggy Style, all these things. I went and got the
13
24
albums
Yo,
for
you went
24
straight from Aretha Franklin to Chronic,
Yo,
Doggy
I got
Style.
all that shit,
Yeah.
and I got it delivered to the crib, and it's just a box. So my mom didn't really stress me about what was in the box.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Yo, you're lucky because I couldn't have gotten that.
Yo, the books were
Hell
crazy.
no.
I got them confiscated in the school and type shit, the doggy style booklet. But yo, and just got all that music, and then boom. Now I'm like, okay, so that's why I'm saying like, yo, right after EPMD, or like maybe like I wasn't old enough to my OGs were bumping EPMD.
Right.
While we watching them play basketball or whatever. And it's like
Right.
we can't get on the court yet. They're like, yo, you don't know what this is?
Yo,
They got the trunk open bumping EPMD or whatever. But
playing
then
You Got to Chill.
right after that, I was like, I wanted to know more about it. That's all I really knew, other than the
Right.
singing stuff that my pops would play. It was like just an alternative, and by the time I knew what it was,
Right.
it was already born and grown.
It's crazy to me that a lot of people have a story about the first time they were introduced to hip hop and how they had to, because it was always, I grew up it was in my house from day one. You know what I'm saying? So it was never hidden from me, or I had to hide it from my.
So your parents were playing hip hop.
I have brothers that are 10 years older than me. They were break dancing in the living room. My mother loved it. My mother loved watching them break dancing, playing the music. Because remember back then, they wasn't cursing a lot. Back then, you had they would listen to Fat Boys, Run DMC at the time. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, you're talking about like really early.
Yeah, 80s stuff. So it was always in the house with me. You know, so it's always. Not amazing, but interesting to me when you guys are telling stories about the first time you had to listen to hip hop and you had to get into the house. I think
that being from a West Indian household, from Haitian descent, both parents is Haitian. It's not like Pops had
right. I mean, bro, look, I was raised by my grandparents, not even the generation of rock and roll, which would have been my parents, and everybody knows my story. It is what it is, right?
Yeah, no, I mean,
and I was forbidden to listen to hip hop until I made such a big deal out of it, like being like a pest of a kid, a menace. It was like, I'm going to listen to it one way or another, like type of thing. One time, this kid Paul Vaccaro, and it's all like Italian, right? Shout out to Paul. His father comes running up the stairs. We're listening to it like late night on the low, but he can hear it in his bedroom. Comes running up the stairs and kicks the hell out of the boom box. And you're not listening to that in my house. That's the shit that I had to go through just to listen to hip hop. You know what I mean? When I heard EPMD, so what you're saying, that is what changed my life. You know what I'm saying? And shout out to Funk, my man, who is also another Haitian brother, Patrick Pierre Louis. You know what I mean? Yeah. He was my boy from a little kid, and he's who gave me the Unfinished Business tape. Before that, I had Tone Loc and Young MC.
I mean, this is fucking hilarious that you just said that, because I'm about to say, like, when I was coming up, like, there was no hip hop in my house. You know, my parents ain't playing it. My sister was playing like fucking who the fuck knows what she was playing, but I kind of like eased them into hip hop because I knew I liked it with Young MC, right? And Tone Loc, because like
safe hip hop.
And I could like to this day, Young MC's first album, you remember that shit on there, The Fastest Rhythm?
No.
And Young MC, that is my name and record for you was my game. And he did this shit where he rapped forever, and I can rap the whole thing to you because like I just remember like that's what my parents let me listen to. Young MC. Yeah. And then I started getting all the other shit. But they used to sell those tapes. I forget what they were called, like the greatest singles. Rap compilation. And they had shit like NWA on there and Ice Cube. But they were the clean versions, so like it was all right, you know. I would be blasting it in the house, but my mom was like, it's all right, you know. And that's what got me into like NWA and Ice Cube and those types of cats.
My sister was big on R&B. So she brought the Jodeci, Shy, Tony.
Gotcha.
So I'm already starting to hear that kind of sound.
Gotcha.
And then I'm sure they were hoping that I didn't get into stuff that they saw on the news and shit like that. But
and at that time in all of our lives, movies like Menace to Society, Boys in the Hood, all that type of stuff, Juice, coming out, and then every time it would come out, and right here, Comac movie theaters, some shit would get shot up. You know what I mean? Word. And it would be like. It was that era of like where it shaped us in terms of where the music and the movies and the culture was just shaping the streets, bro. So when you think about it, hip hop changed the world.
Yeah, when Cuban Link dropped, right? Yeah. He was at a point in life, and it's like people talk about that album like Purple Tape.
Yeah,
it dropped at such a point in my life. I think it was 9th grade. Right. So you're just able to pick your own clothes when you go school shopping with your parents and shit like that. Yep. So it's like, what? You're wearing like size 50, 42. We're buying the biggest jeans we could find. Me and my man went on a mission to find the biggest jeans we could find at one point because it was about being baggy.
Biggest jeans.
With a Carl Kanai hoodie and shit like that.
The Carl Kanai was a must, bro.
We're getting dropped off at Jamaica Ave with, your little $200 to go school shopping, and we're coming back with fronts. My mom's like, where's the bag? Where's your clothes? And I'm like, and I got fucking fangs.
Bristle fangs.
She's like, it's crazy.
That's crazy.
But Cuban Link shaped it to where it was like, it's such a part of growing up. that I can never forget that album. When I hear it, I remember who I was in the car with.
Yeah.
I remember certain things.
What the weather was like outside.
Crazy.
Like,
Well, it's amazing how albums could just take you to a time like that.
That is the same way I feel about, the infamous
good
like
music.
the Mobb Deep
That's good
90, the
music,
summer
though.
95.
That's music.
Yeah.
They say the music of your youth really shapes you.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
everything.
Absolutely.
Boogie Man, let's get into your joint
No gimmicks.
with No Gimmicks. Who's on this one?
So No Gimmicks featuring Erick Sermon, 38 Special, and the Young Fellas. Shout out to YF, man.
Word. This dropped in May. It's
May,
available right now. And we're going to come back. We want to talk about future projects for you, correct?
Yes, sir.
All right, y'all. Lost in Hip Hop. Yo, we've been having a really
appreciate
good
y'all
convo,
for having
man.
me here,
really
man.
good convo.
This is just
this is
studio shit.
My man.
This is, you know what I mean?
Lost in Hip Hop, brought to you by Ewing Athletics.
Yeah.
BooGeyManBeats in the house. Mickey Knox, Concept, Menza. We'll be right back, y'all.
All right. DJ Concept, Mickey Knox, Mr. Menza, BooGeyManBeats in the house. Shout out to Ewing Athletics.
Yo.
Facts.
You know what I'm saying? But yo, we did a lot of talking about like the history and the Def Squad and Eric, but like I want to talk a little bit about your project.
Yeah.
Yeah, wrong headphones, bro.
Yeah.
So you got your project. You've been working on it for a little while. Boogie Nights.
Yeah.
Tell us about that.
Was that the first single off of it? The joint with Special? And,
Yeah. That was the first single. I figured that, just being around so much music being created with helping E however I can, getting duos prepared, I got inspired. And plus I'm sitting there cooking, trying to make the album because the door is right there. So I'd be stupid not to take advantage of that.
Right.
So
Yeah.
just in the process of cooking and whatever, obviously Eric gets first dibs.
Right.
And if, he doesn't hear something to it at that point, I'm like, yo, why don't I start putting together records?
Right.
And as I started putting together records, I'm like, yo, why don't I holla at Menza and Knox? Because I know they're always putting together records. And you know what I mean? I wanted to play my beats for you guys because I'm like, I want you to see where I'm at now.
Right.
And
That's humbling.
And then I see Mickey Knox producing everybody on the
Stop,
planet,
bro.
dropping all these records, and I'm like, yo, I gotta keep up. Out of nowhere.
Yeah,
I gotta
we
keep
said,
up.
bro?
Concept too. Don't be quiet over here like he's not the crisis center sitting here dropping albums every
Mickey Knox
month.
got the cheat code, bro.
So I'm like, okay, and shout out to Mickey Knox because it's not easy to produce.
No.
And
It's not.
You're
But
already,
let's define the cheat code real quick.
Nah, it's not a cheat code because he's doing the same thing. We're taking advantage of our positions.
Yes.
You know what I'm saying?
I wouldn't even call it taking advantage. It's just like you're like capitalizing on your position.
Yeah, for sure.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
But it is somewhat of a cheat code in comparison to somebody that has to hunt down artists, pay for features, do all that type of stuff.
Right.
For sure.
But at the end of the day, it still has to be good music.
Yes.
You know what I'm saying?
It's not like
Not every exec could produce.
Right.
Yo, I'll be honest with you, bro. Like, I didn't know you produced, right?
Yeah,
and it was at a time where, like, me and you were so close in this shit. I said this before, but it was the fact that
I remember coming through and fixing your computer.
yes, you did, bro. Like I would, like, and then it was like almost like I was like I was so like wise guyed out at that point that like calling you to be like, yo, I got a guy. He can fix any computer. You know what I mean? And you would come through on the spot, like within an hour, and fix a computer for somebody. People would think that, well, this fucking guy's.
Yeah, he knows. He knows a guy.
He's got a guy. But yo, what I'm saying though, like, is like the way that it was that I didn't realize, because all of a sudden when you did have something to play me, and I was so inundated by the rest of the producers, and at that time Mickey Knox didn't even produce.
Yeah,
Not at all.
But we were on a heavy Sickness run. You know what I mean? Like,
Shout out to Sickness.
Shout out to Sickness, and he's an extremely talented producer.
Beast.
And even Super Dave,
Absolutely.
at
Shout
the
out to
time,
Super Dave.
shout out to Dave, would be like.
Shout out to Little Vic.
Shout out to Vic, of course, because that's my brother, and we worked hand to hand all the time. But Sickness was always getting the looks, basically, at that time.
He was.
And when I found out, bro, that you had beats and you wanted to play it for us, and then never did, and then even maybe the one that was that Seasons Change thing, I felt bad. I felt like, yo, that's such my man.
Yeah.
How did I not listen to his beats?
But at the end of the day, they weren't where they're supposed to be, and I wouldn't have played you them because I'm hearing what concept's playing. I'm recording it.
Right.
So like I'm like, yo, so like
true.
when I would hear fly shit, I'm like, yo, this shit is fire because I'm looking at it as a producer. But I also know I try to look at it as like, how would he want? I want this to sit on my beat,
Right.
a certain way. And the one thing I didn't like about engineering is that one thing I learned in 5 Towns was that there's no real right way to engineer because at the end of the day, happy wife, happy life.
Right, it's what the client wants.
So some people like D&D was known for that high trebly sound. Like you went to D&D for that sound.
Yeah.
I love that sound.
And you know, everybody had their sound. So it was like, you know, you're more of just catering to how you want it to sound and trying the best to your ability. You know what I mean? So I wasn't really concerned with like, you already had the beats. But I just wanted to play something to be like, yo, I could put this on. Mickey Knox is dropping projects and shit like that. Everybody got beats on there. You got my first sessions. I remember having a session with Illa G.
Yeah.
Right.
And I'm just like, yo, I was in the studio with Illa G.
Yeah.
And then it's like, yo,
Shout to Illa.
Planet
Shout to
Asia
Illa.
comes through, and then Nature, Ali Vegas, and I'm like, yo,
Shout out to
I'm
Ali
in the
Vegas.
game.
So I was just about to bring that up when you mentioned.
I'm in the game.
Yeah,
You know what I
you
mean?
mentioned our brother AV.
Yeah.
That the session of when Eric did Move with Ali was like a dream come true. I couldn't even believe it was surreal. I couldn't believe I was witnessing something that I so badly wanted to put together. That Boogie and Boogie had the beat, and Eric loved it, and Ali and you know we did other records after that, but that
He
one
actually wrote the verse like while we were recording, when Vague was recording his verse or whatever. We in the big room, and E's kind of like in the other room listening and writing. So like as we're listening to the playback, we like, yo, this shit is fire. He's like, yo, put the mic on. I'm like, what?
Yeah.
Wow. I ran to the booth. I looked at Vague, and it was like, yo.
Now you got to admit, right? Like that time, and as well as me, so we shared this moment together. That's the
that
first
actually
time.
was my first record, to be honest with you.
That's kind of what I'm getting to in the sense of that. I was listening to Erick Sermon rap on a beat that I kind of like executive produced. It was like sickest thing ever, bro. And we experienced that together. And that was so it's for listening to E rap face to face, like watching him rap. You know what I mean? Right. And then on your beat, you know what I mean? And me and you being like such good friends that like it's like, you know, we're always gonna be great friends. But you know, life brings us in certain places where then you don't talk for a little bit. Then you gotta catch up and it feels like, you know, you never left. But right now we're on such career paths, you know, like, and where we're going. I think about those days and I'm like, you know, those were the good old days, man. That's why I said
Sweet 3, man. Let's put this together. Yo, we go and interview everybody.
The good old days.
You know what it is? Everything is a stepping stone to where you're going, right? Like, whether it's a bad experience, a good experience, it's all stuff that's getting you to the next level and to where you want to go.
There are certain like parts of, you know, in my life, my career with hip hop that there are times in a booth that like when you're in the studio session and you hear the rapper go in and it just brings you back to your childhood. That it's like, how am I watching this guy rap?
Yo,
right
one
now?
thing real quick. I don't think that y'all give yourselves enough credit with being ahead of where music was going, because without you being at the studio, I don't know anything about streaming. Like when we met, it was about like, yo, going digital.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So that put me ahead of the curve where all these other people I'm having convos with, I'm like, yo, these guys were streaming years ago, bro. Right. Like we were like shooting videos and like ahead of everything. Every trend that you see, it's like, yo, somebody at this table was part of what was going on back then. So when I see these new people doing it, I'm like, you know, Hov did that, so we wouldn't have to go through that. I see you making the mistakes I was making in 2013 when I was just, you know, and
bro, one of the like the perfect storm with me and Mickey Knox was the fact that we were such good friends when we were younger, and the fact that he went same story in a sense, went your separate ways, and you know, I learned business, I learned all sorts of business, right? But like to link back together where I'm walking up to a stage that he's DJing for Rakim, right? Like in Long Island, you know what I mean, type of shit. And it's like, okay, this is my friend Miguel Perez from high school. You know what I'm saying? Like,
government online.
like type of thing. You know what I mean? But the perfect storm was the fact that I knew how to do business and he knew hip hop. I loved hip hop and I wanted to show him how to really like get this money type of thing.
Yeah.
And we like that combo of the authenticity behind him, and you'd always be like, "No, we can't do it this way. It's going to take away from the and
but that's the yin and the yang.
And 15 years later, it's just worked out like so well, bro. And I'm blessed. I'm blessed to have him as a partner, and guys like you around us that keep supporting. Yeah. And I love the fact that E could come here and we could all break bread and have some laughs.
That's
you know what I mean? And where you're at right now, super producer Boogeyman.
Yo, I mean, I'll just be joking with the super producer thing, but what I do is try to keep, you know what I mean? Because before I send it to you, I'm gonna send it to E.
Yeah.
And we're past the point of him trying to just pat me on the back. Right. You know what I mean? I tell him, just let me know if it's whack. I may think it's whack, but you kind of convinced me to send you the whack shit at this point. I'll let you say it's whack.
No, so that's a good question. Has that evolution been like where it's like you feel like in the very beginning he did pacify you in a sense because he knew you were hard worker and loyal and all that? I don't.
I'm sorry. I don't think so because what he said, what Boogie said before was that Eric asked him to send a beat, right? And he was like, I'm not really going to send it. And then he came back and said, yo, if I ask you to send me a beat, just send me that beat. And that tells me that like he really believed in you and he wanted that beat. So like your way is supposed to be.
What I respect about E is that he's not one of those producers that's like, yo, I got to produce everything that I do. So if he hears something that's a good idea, he's gonna be like, yo, I think you should change this, or I think you should change that. And that's the feedback I'm looking for because he knows what is good enough to sound different, but still get a listen. You know what I mean? And make sure that it's a good record. If it's not a good record, it's like, yo, he'll tell me that's not one of your stronger records. And I'm like, yo, thank you. I thought that same thing. Or I thought, damn, I thought I was coming out the gate with some fire.
One thing that I've seen him do, in front of my eyes is take a beat that a producer, and I'm not going to say who, but I'm just going to say a producer, that the producer thinks is a great beat, and he considers it just a reference.
Right.
And then he takes that motherfucker and turns it into something crazy. You know what I'm saying? So the part of being a producer and a genius and a legend and all that, like I've seen the man actually do it. And now years later, you are so self-sufficient in that sense of like when you play me, I'm like in the beginning expecting to hear a tweak from it before I hear it, and now I know that I'm hearing it right out of when you're ready for it. Right. You know what I mean, like type of thing. And you're the level of the production has just stepped up incredibly over the last 5 years, bro.
One thing I'm always gonna do is when I'm gonna soak up game. How could you sit around these people for so long and not leave there with
Yo, bro, I preach that left and right.
So I would come home from work and literally, like, even just here, you know what I'm saying? Like, I work a 9 to 5, and it's one of those things that music is a risk. So not everybody can sit there and just do that.
Spend that time.
To be able to live the life that you want to perceive or that in today's game that you have to kind of put out there.
Right.
So I knew from jump, I'm like, all right, my parents aren't going to fuck with this. So you know what? I'm going to do this so that I can still do this. And I'll lose, what am I giving up? Sleep and time.
Got you. Yo, brother, you're one of the greatest I've ever seen at operating on no sleep.
Yo,
I've never seen anybody operate on no sleep like you, bro.
Speaking of that, you're Erick's right hand man, and you're on tour with him currently. Now.
I move around city to city with them.
You're coordinating everything.
Yeah.
We're over here watching you, and we're watching interviews with Erick, and we're seeing Erick mention you a lot.
Yes, sir.
And he's talking about.
Yeah, the project that that again, like while Erick's putting together duos, certain things just fall into place where all right, so just have them rap over this beat, and then you know what I mean. I'll do what I do once I get all the vocals of what I'm doing, and sometimes it's like, oh wow, that sticks, or something falls through. And
how many times would you say, in a percentage, that a song does not get touched or modified and how the beat was submitted? 100% of the time it gets touched.
Yeah, I think it's one of those things. Nothing's 100%, 92%.
Got you. Okay, yeah.
But it always comes down to making the best record.
For sure,
There's
I
records
understand
that we've
that.
sat on for like a year that it's like,
right.
It could be better.
Yes,
You know what I
and
mean?
that's the part of like being like these musical savants, that what they consider to be what's right, can either take so long or be so expensive that we did come up with our own style of
just release, right?
Right, like the rapid release style, which was always this thing that we had to preach based on the fact that it has to be quantity and quality. But quantity is winning now.
There's always going to be that debate of that balance, whether it's 65 this.
Correct.
You know what I mean? And the market's going to dictate
shout
that,
out and much respect to the Green Eye Bandit and the fact that he has proven that it doesn't have to be quantity.
Mm-hmm. Right. So one thing I want to say about where, he's at with now is that, he's really focused on moving things forward. And to encourage people, the legends, like, if we know you love it because you're a legend, you've already shown that you love it, you're not going to be bigger than what you were. Right. So don't sit there and try it and sell too many records.
What amazing advice.
That is
just crazy. Do what you do and put out the music, and your fans will support you. And just make sure that you're set up to...
Mickey played a Grand Pooba record the other day. That shit's going on my playlist, bro.
I found out that he produced a lot of the earlier stuff. In one of the interviews that came up, I'm like, whoa, I didn't know that.
What?
I think the first Brand Nubian.
Oh, I didn't know that either.
Me either.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
So it was like when you see that, it's like, come on, man.
Yeah.
Like, just don't be scared to put out the music. Just make sure that it's like the music.
And I think that there was a fair amount of the difference from back in the day to now. Like, like legends like Eric and everyone, like, they put out an album and they lived off it for a long time.
Yes, it was
a different time.
The sales, the way the labels had to reinvest in themselves and portray this to get the people to buy in. It's like it was the biggest facade, but it worked. But at the end of the day, I do feel that, like, back in the day, until I see otherwise, because I'm the type of person to dig into things.
Right.
Until I see otherwise, it's like, they were making a ton of money, but they were also having to spend the ton to buy their own records, to print them, to buy them, and then do something with it. So it's like, they're keeping $13, but they're spending 10 of it. So they're keeping $3 and they're giving you $1, and that's how this business works. Like, for everybody to eat, you have to spend money.
Yes.
Or else, how do you make money?
That model. When you think about like how many they were warehousing so many boxes of CDs that they had to buy on their own in order to make the SoundScan numbers, in order to
make the charts,
and it does suck that it was smoke and mirrors in that sense, and it ruined a lot of careers. But here's the one thing that I always tell the legends, that what those companies did do was spend millions of dollars to build you an algorithm that came through after the fact that they spent it. They didn't know what they were doing, because when the internet started, all of those fans that were searching for whatever legend that they were looking for created these algorithms that they can now really
monetize.
eat independently off of now. And that those millions of dollars in promotion and marketing was spent 20 years plus ago. You know what I mean? But now is the time. And what was dope is when we went through the YouTube training, we were in there with managers from
Duran's manager.
Duran. I said, yo, I'm in the fucking room with Duran's manager. Yo,
people can't talk about these stories, and that's where I started to realize, and not to, it's almost the perfect segue, that it's time for me to talk.
Yes,
it is.
You know what I'm saying? Right. So it's like, because I'm not this boisterous type person, it's like I had to look at it, and I had to think to myself, like, I've been going hard. Y'all seen it. I'm talking about like our origins of 2011 as far as a business working relationship, recording real studio records in the studio. I look at it, and I got to a point in life to where it's like, my career is amazing. Because I've been working in IT for 20 years, so you do the math. And I've been in music seriously, like, and when I say seriously, and it's like other people could talk about being in music seriously, and their story is like, Come on, man.
Yo, bro,
It's not the same.
I'm sure you're getting to the point in your career where you're actually forgetting stories. And then next thing you know, you bump into
someone and
a
you remember
DJ
that.
Premier, and then remember the time you was around him 10 years ago, and like I remember that story.
I think
and
I
it's
was
like,
holding the camera.
bro.
No, that was with Sway. At Sway, I was
Yes,
recording.
yes.
When he asked you that
When Bernard
question.
was like, "Go up there, go up there, go."
When he asked you the question, he
I
was like,
said, "Yo, you want me to go on the air right now?"
Yeah.
Bernard's like, "Go."
People can't tell those stories.
And I sometimes think about like, do we
Leo
need to?
Cohen, bro.
Like,
Leo
bro.
Cohen. Think
Look, I
about
didn't
who-
even get into that. Like in the sense of where I was gonna, because I don't want it to be like just us and Def Squad type of conversation.
Right.
But you know what, bro? Eric changed my life. Def Squad changed my life. I was sleeping
Mine
on
as
the
well.
man's couch in the studio,
Facts.
literally.
Yeah.
Facts.
And the day that he came in and Bernard had come in and say, "Yo, dress sharp. Tomorrow we're going to YouTube," you know, and to have the story to say, I sat down with Leo Cohen in his office, and the man looked at me and said, "You're the digital asset manager, and you're going to go to YouTube training," and that was the end of the meeting. That was it. Like from there, you know, me, Boogie, and Mickey went into YouTube, into the Google building, and went through 2 sessions of best practices training. And I can walk out of there and say, like, I remember we went back to the office and you walked up to him and you shook his head and you said, "Thank you, just made me a millionaire." He said, "What are you talking about? What are you talking about, Boogie? What are you talking about?"
Yo, I said, yo, we're gonna
100%.
I'm gonna make you $1 million.
Yeah.
I'm gonna make you $1 million off
And
of what,
I said
what
to myself, "Yo, bro, like what we just experienced will change our lives," and it's still happening to this day. So much love and respect to him, because we are not
sure.
the only story of somebody who has crossed this path and has built a career for themselves. And again, shout out to Bernard,
Yep.
because he started as EPMD's dancer.
That's a fact.
Right? And being around Erick Sermon created a career for himself that
50
seen the
Cent.
likes of 50 Cent and Nas and Lauryn Hill and, you know, and the type of people that he's broke in his career.
Akon.
Right.
Akon,
Right.
okay, to all the way to,
Crazy.
you know, a man named Rick Ross that was chilling in Erick Sermon's basement and called himself
Teflon Don.
Teflon Don.
Teflon Don.
He's on the Eric Onassis album.
and you know, to do the history, right,
Young
you know,
Bird.
all the way from Redman to Keith Murray. I mean, it's almost like, you know, anybody that, like, there was even some of those what was his name, Psy something.
Cy,
Cy Scott.
Cy Scott.
Cy Scott,
Cy
right?
Scott,
that
yeah.
just by being on the E. Sermon
Onassis,
stuff,
yeah.
like
He was going for the major
He was.
deals, yeah.
It was like anything that Eric
Lil
touched.
Wayne was
okay?
like a big fan of him. I've heard at
wow.
the time. It was one of those stories to where Wayne started like doubling up the words like that and was like,
Wow.
I think that's who got the record with? Don't one of them got a record? Marley got a record with Wayne?
Premier got the record with Wayne and Slick Rick. I don't know that.
I think I
Yeah,
thought
that
it
was
was
the
Marley
number one,
that
yeah.
had a record with Wayne. Maybe not.
And just to make one more like testament to what we've done, like sometimes I look at Mass Appeal and what they're doing, and shout out to Nas and everything that they're doing. It's amazing. They have
The culture.
this
legend
platform
running.
that now is legends dropping, and I believe that DCM and through Def Squad streaming and all that run, we made a run, bro.
Yeah.
Like Breakfast Club and Sway in the Morning. We had the emails and the phones ringing. People were hitting us up
That's a
with
fact.
all sorts of opportunities. The
fact.
Super Soaker guy was coming around to do
Lonnie Johnson.
Lonnie Johnson, who invented
Vidya-
the Super Soaker.
Vidya earlier.
Vidya early, like yo, bro. I mean, we even had a
'Cause
kid. Remember the
I think
kid?
Vidya is the backbone of Gamma.
Word?
Larry Jackson did the deal with Vidya for Gamma.
Okay, see.
And
And that's what I'm saying.
think
Me and
about-
Mickey met
I
in that
know,
office,
Jersey.
like, you know, and
I
then,
remember
you
y'all
know,
got
they were gonna
back.
build you a white label of the app and all that. It was like really surreal. And then there was even kids coming in. Hey, we want to come in and build you this type of website. And then at that point, it was, you know, it was at a point where it was so exploding that it had to simmer down. You know what I mean? Because we couldn't handle the influx of the opportunities.
Definitely.
You know what I mean?
Definitely. It's like
You know.
once you say you're open for business,
Right.
with
And
Erick
it's just
Sermon, you're open for
flooded,
business.
bro.
Floodgates.
Erick Sermon open for business. People like, yo, can we stream with you, OG? Yo, Uncle E, like, and you know, that was an amazing run, and it led like now to like the way you're at with it all, in the fact that like the way he's
where I'm
dropping
even
now with
thinking
the
about-
duos,
Yeah, it's gonna be crazy.
And so the beautiful thing about duos, right? It re-energized him to where it's like, you know, as we're crafting duos and waiting on verses, it's like, you know, now he's inspired to produce. Now he's hearing some of the beats and it's like, yo, I want to rap.
Yeah.
So I'm like, yo, you should get on that.
Amazing. That's amazing.
Like, he got on. I got like 3. Erick's on my album 3 times.
Wow.
Yeah, I got 2 solos and then the special joint that everybody heard.
Yo, do you know that prior to
crazy.
BooGeyMan and Boogie going to Def Squad first, and then introducing us and inviting us in?
Quick story.
Yeah.
It's like I remember calling you because we were putting together. It was Erick's album called Go at the time, and he's like, yo, I want to put Styles and AZ on the song, and he's like, yo, I need AZ's number. I'm like, yo, I may know somebody who, like, yo, if I tell him, he's gonna make sure that he'll get it done.
Yeah.
He's like, I don't know. The other intern, shout out to Wise, he was there and he's just like, yo, you should DM him. And I'm like, so I ran outside and I'm like, yo, I need you to get AZ's number ASAP. And he's like, yo, I probably need till like Tuesday or whatever. It was like Monday. I'm like, yo, just as quick as you can.
Yeah.
And then AZ had hit back through DM, but I'm like, okay. That's when the idea came. I'm like, yo, should bring in Menza and Knox to handle Erick's digital shit. It wasn't together at the time, and the digital was just starting to get going, and that's what I like to highlight is like it takes a certain type of person to do that, because at the end of the day, you can go on without me. I'm not really integral to this equation. It's like, all right, so it's you and Erick Sermon, but I knew that just based on friendship, it's like, yo, okay, so just make sure that, you know, I'm willing to do anything as part of to make the ship go forward. Word. Just let me know, and you know, I'll handle the troops. And even when we first was setting up, it was like, all right, you handle Erick, I'll handle everything else.
Yeah.
You handle what Eni needs to handle, I'll take care of everything else around. Like,
amazing story.
Yeah. What a time, bro.
What an episode tonight.
Back to the album real quick. Yeah. And it's like, yo, just a while E's putting together his project, certain things are falling into my lap. He's getting inspired. He's recording his album. And I'm like, yo, why don't I finally get rid of some of these beats that's just sitting on my drive? And then it's like, yo, so I started just hitting up the people that I thought made good music. So shout out to the Dro Hefts, the Pills Brims, the UFO Thieves, and stuff like relationships that I had. Yeah, I think that's the name he goes by now, like Pills Brim.
I like it.
Okay.
Or Pillsbury. I apologize if I his name, but I know there's another Pills, so you know, I don't want to get it confused. Pills from Amityville. He's from Long Island. He's tearing up all them freestyles, the one train ciphers and stuff like that. And you know, we had connected.
Not the same Pillsbury.
It is the same Pills. Yeah. Pills from around Pills. But there's another Pills, I think, that's on Ghostface's album. So once I seen that, I'm like, I don't even like to say
you're
Pills.
saying, wait, hold on. You're saying that our man, Pillsbury, our guy, is killing ciphers right now?
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay.
One train cipher and Slick Talk cipher.
Okay, cool. No, that's dope.
Yeah.
I mean,
so we've been putting together an EP for, I say, like 2-3 years now. So it just so happened that I'm like, okay, so originally the thought of Boogie Nights was I was going to do EPs on rappers that I fuck with, 7 songs, and da-da-da-da. So then once I seen the burden of trying to get 7, all these rappers do 7 songs.
Yes.
Certain rappers was like, yo, I laced all the joints you sent me. Other ones is like, yo, I wanted to. So I'm like, so why not just take the best songs from all of them and put it on a project?
It's a great idea.
And then once I did that, I'm like, okay. I figured I'm like, yo, let me holla at Menza, and I see what y'all doing, and it's like, yo, if you got anything, and da-da-da-da, and then it's just like, yo, we just got to work. Yeah. I start putting together records, and then now, you know, I got a project.
The part of this that I love the most, right, and I say this all the time to my inner circle guys, is like, when you come to me and say, yo, this is like, not to come to me, I'm saying when you just mentioned, yo, I remember when Super Dave was just like, yo, I love this guy named Rashid Chappelle and this dude named Matthew Ragazzino. He wasn't saying that for me to go out and get him. Right. He just mentioned that. But my passion is then getting it for the guy that wants
making it happen.
You know what I mean? And no matter what, like at the end of the day, that's what we're here for. Like, so if it's just we could put our projects together for the rest of our lives. I mean, this is what we do. This is what we love. The success of it is where I just hate that sometimes it's always the gauge of whether we want to keep doing this forever. Right. But to do it we love to do it, bro.
Yeah, that's a fact.
So who else you got on your album?
I got shout out to like Fuego Bass. Shout out to 38 Special. I got Erick Sermon. I got
you got Ali.
Twins.
You got Ali.
Yeah, Ali Vegas.
You got Mr. Cheeks.
Mr. Cheeks.
Yep.
I got the Young Fellas. I got Enzo. I got Pastor Porter. I got
J Sos.
Yeah. I got I think that's about it, but
that's a good list.
It's a bunch of records, and we're actually in the studio with don't want to mess this up. I think it was
Twins?
Rolling Stones, Twins.
Flush.
Flush. We were in the studio with the representative from Rolling Stone. Eric was doing press and stuff like that. And it's basically Eric's executive producing it. It's going to be fully produced by me, but Eric's making sure my shit is right.
That's
and the Nature record,
bro. That's
Nature.
amazing.
I forgot about that. That one is like that got me right now. So that's, that's
you
gonna be the
just
first
listed
single.
like
the Nature record is
17 people.
incredibly fire.
So it's like everybody came through for me, and this is all based on relationships. Whether it's me, you, it's based on a relationship.
For sure, for sure. And it's because you're dope, bro. You're dope as shit, man. Like nobody can deny the fact that the music is fire, bro.
So what was really a moment for me is that so we're playing duos and stuff like that, going through it with the Rolling Stone guy, and then Eric is just like, yo, my next album up is Boogie Nights. He's like, what's that? Everybody kind of acts like, oh, because it's like, yo, I'm dropping duos. Then Erick Sermon produced Boogie Nights. Erick Sermon presents Boogie Nights, the Sermon. And then Volume 2. So everybody's like, yo, Boogie Nights, what's that? We know, da-da-da-da. And he's like, yo, it's him. He's like, yo, it's just going to be my real underground album. I got Nature. He's like, Nature from Queens?
That's what Rolling Stone said?
Yeah.
That's
the guy that was interviewing. And I was just like, yo, naming some of the names, he's just like, yo. So then, it's like, yo, E can cook the A-list.
Yeah.
Or whatever. Obviously, like, he's a legend. I don't expect him to do the records with these people. So it's like, yo. And obviously, just being around him, I'm starting to sound like him in certain things, or we're starting to sound like each other.
Yeah,
because there's
funky bass lines.
There's a collaboration of where like what I'm bringing to the table, what he's bringing to the table, and obviously, I let the sensei do what he does. I'd be stupid not to. So he's a genius.
Yeah, that's I've had a lot of opinions and a lot of sessions in with all of us. I didn't never say a word inside of Erick Sermon's studio.
Sometimes you have to be quiet.
It's sat there and just
100%.
quiet, bro. Like
that was a learning experience.
Yeah, there's nothing to say. You just sit there and absorb.
Yeah,
that's what.
So we had dropped a Keith Murray record called No Exceptions, I believe.
Yes.
Right.
Produced by Erick Sermon.
Produced by Erick Sermon, and E at the time didn't know who dropped the record because when we dropped it, like it was
we
everywhere.
did it for Murray, and it was everywhere.
We did it for Murray, and we did like one of our like we put all hands on deck type of shit, and the shit was everywhere, and people were hitting Eric at that time, being like, "Yo, this is crazy, this is fire." Da da da. When he met us. And you said, yo, that was the greatest moment, bro. Listen, in my hip hop career, it was the greatest moment, one of my greatest moments of my life, greatest moment
There's
in hip hop.
nothing like when Erick Sermon's excited.
Yes. You dropped that?
Yes.
That was you, right?
Yeah.
Now he goes and puts his hand on our shoulders, like 2 hands on both of our shoulders, and said, I need you to work on this album that I got coming up called Vernia. Or it was Go. I don't think it was.
It was Go at the time because that was the Kickstarter time.
That was the Kickstarter thing, right? That then turned into Vernia type of thing. Yes. And that whole put in the hand, like that day, that moment, that was you. And then we were like, we like, how'd you do that? You know what I mean? And it's like, that's how it started to have E. Sermon put his hand on his shoulder and say, like, yo, I need you to work on this thing with me. Was like the greatest moment of my hip hop career, bottom line.
On duos, I do have, I produced the Cypress Hill joint.
Oh,
yeah.
Wow. Shit. Why are you just telling me that? He just came out and just said, I just did the Cypress Hill joint.
So nonchalant.
I just remembered.
Finish.
Yeah, so
everybody shut up.
I got the Cypress Hill joint on duos. And with E, I laid the music beds to skits.
Wow.
So, and it's one of those things, again, he didn't need me to produce, you know what I mean? But it's one of those things when it's like, I had done it, and I tried to make it like a Latin feel because of Cypress Hill.
Yeah.
And you know, when I played it for him, he's like, "Yo, that's it. I don't even need to." Like, kind of shut off the keyboard, and it's like, "Yo, we went with that."
Wow.
And so I'm excited about that. And I did 4 joints. I got 4 joints on the Sermon.
Crazy.
You know what I'm saying? So
who did this, the Salt and Pepper joint?
that was Erick and Rockwalla.
Got you.
Yeah.
I was so happy to see that one.
Yeah.
It's a feel good joint, and unfortunately, you know, with 300 folding, and that was the delay on the album the first time. So 300 folded. So you know, the single kind of got left there. You know, working through the politics of trying to get it on the official release for everybody.
Yeah, it needs to be on there.
A lot of the press he did originally, it was going to be just a volume 1, so it was going to be 7 records, but with technical difficulties and clearance issues, so right now it's probably more like 12 songs. You know?
So, other than what we know that there are certain ones, like you just mentioned, Cypress Hill.
Yeah, so
EPMD's on there.
EPMD's on there.
Give me one other one.
No, I mean EPMD's on there. Cypress Hill, MOP, Erick and Spesh.
You just shot the video for.
Yes, the video's coming very soon.
Yo, what up, Twitches? We're live over here on Lost in Hip Hop with the Bash Brothers and BooGeyManBeats.
Yo.
Def Squad's finest.
Yeah.
He's got Boogie Nights coming out.
That's a fact.
And Erick Sermon's The Duo album coming out. He's got some beats on there.
It's crazy.
December 5th is the new date.
All right, I was going to say, tell them when these albums are coming out. Tell them where they can find you.
Yeah. You can find me on Instagram, the BooGeyManBeats. And
what about a YouTube channel?
So I have to really start putting some effort into that.
Okay.
Right now it's all about Erick Sermon and duos, man.
Nah, I get it.
Everything goes from there.
Yeah.
And then, you know, Erick Sermon presents Boogie Nights, episode 1. Just gonna really introduce, you know, my production. I don't think that people have gotten a chance to hear what I think is my best.
Right.
You know what I mean? These
Bro,
other
you're
things that people
better,
grab.
better and better.
Yeah. And you know, the funny thing is that people, there's a whole wave of people that just started doing this music shit recently, and everybody, it's easier, you can. But I'm talking about, like, I'm going back to 7th grade band. You know what I'm saying? When I was playing the trombone, where I got certain things that, like, hearing music, reading music, and stuff like that. I'm more than rusty,
right?
But I know what to hear, because of that. So it's like, this isn't something that, you know, I just picked up. People that know me from high school will tell you, like, yo, I'm proud of you because you said you would do it.
Yo, it's the best feeling, bro.
I love it.
It is.
Concept, when you make beats, I remember a lot of times you were on the train, like, making them in your headphones, right? Like, what type of little pieces of equipment, like, you don't got shit like big shit, right?
Like computer, bro.
So you making it on the laptop?
Yeah, I mean, a long time ago, because I used to make beats. I used to make beats on a keyboard and shit. But then it was like, I was always going back and forth to the city, and I'm like wasting all time. I got 2 hours a day or more where I'm on the train, and I'm like, I really need to learn how to use a computer to do this shit. And I credit it every time this comes up. J57, shout out to J57, because at the time he was a big Reason guy, and I hit him up and I go, yo, bro, could you just spend an hour with me and show me that program, because I like to, like, learn from someone who knows how to use the shit. And he was like, yeah, and this is when he was interning at Fat Beats.
Yeah.
And he goes, yo, come to Fat Beats at like 10 o'clock in the morning. There's no one in the store at that time. I went in Fat Beats and fucking sat there for an hour, and he showed me how to use the program. Crazy. And from there, I was off. And then I just, like, I made like 75% of my beats on a train.
Yeah.
So I got 3 producers on the show right now.
Yeah.
What is the inspiration behind, like, the mood of the beats? Like, you have to be in a mood that you start digging for certain.
Yeah. Let me ask you, when you're making beats, are you specific going, I'm gonna make dark beats or I'm gonna make soul beats?
If there's an assignment,
right,
then I try to match it. If there's no assignment, I really just go in and I'll find a drum. A song would have inspired me to go turn on my computer. So I already know what kind of drums I want. So
you start with the drums?
Yeah, for the most part.
All right.
I'll start with a break. I'll just go find a break that just keeps a rhythm going.
Oh wait, so you start with the drums before you even find a sample?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
You find the sample first.
Yes. I go with that.
Primo does drums
it's not
mostly
to
first.
say that I don't do it that way.
No, I hear you, but you prefer sometimes.
To get inspiration, I'll
Yeah.
just go
So-
find a
I
break,
get that.
get it going, and then I'm like, I'll go chop, and then I'll probably delete the drums.
I've
yeah.
seen
And
so
then
many
revisit that part.
like real super producers only care about getting in vocals and giving the artist a drum pattern just to rap on that drum pattern and send in the vocals. You know, plenty of them.
So,
I can name a handful, but when I'm dropping names, it's like I've seen that method so many times to understand this is how the higher level really wants to do it. That
But
they
think
don't
about
want you
this.
to rap on a beat reference. They want to rap on a drum loop or something, and then they create the song around it.
Think about this though. It's almost the same as me switching the beat after you lay your vocals.
Yeah.
Correct.
Because it's like, here's the beat, and it's probably tough for somebody to lay lyrics to just drum. So it's like, oh, here's a beat,
Yeah.
but it's just like you freestyling on the radio. I'm gonna take what you did, and then now it could be a totally different beat, and it's
Yeah.
like, this is what I heard now after I hear your words.
So, in seeing that practice and being a part of it, sometimes there are artists then that when they hear the new version of what they rapped
don't like
on,
it.
they're like, "Why'd you do that?"
Demos,
And
they
they're
call it
very upset.
demoitis because it's
What
like
is it?
you demoitis.
You listen
got
to the
so
demo so long.
in love with what it was.
When did you hear that phrase? Because I've never heard that
I've never
before.
heard it. It's a
We
good-
actually were talking about that with the Sidewalk Executives record. Because,
Okay.
the record that they laid is different from what he sent that.
Got
the final
you.
version.
So
they're
in the
like, yo, we
talks
kinda
at
like
that time with the video
we like
shoot?
the original. Before the video shoots, like, yo,
Okay.
what happened to the original?
I got you.
So, but after a while, now it's like, yo, now we love the record.
Yeah.
But it's the demoitis. But at the end of the day, that's another reason why I never really played beats for people, because it's like I get my idea and then it's bounced. And I won't really revisit it because I found myself trying to make this elaborate production, and the rapper didn't even hear it yet.
Yeah.
It's probably gonna sit on my drive. So why am I gonna waste all this time? I got the idea down. If you fuck with it, I got the session.
Then you go
I'll pop
back.
it back open.
Yeah.
You got me the vocals. You rap to the loop, and then now I'm gonna send it back to you totally elaborate.
That's
Yeah.
when
At that
when
point,
you become a producer,
it
not
grows.
a beat maker.
A beat maker.
Yes.
So unfortunately, a lot of the artists that I work with allow me to have that freedom. There's other situations where it's like, all right, here's the beat. Let me kind of approve,
Let me
give
ask
the
you
thumbs
this.
up to
Right,
that.
right.
But I like to get the session, even if I send it back.
Let me
to
ask
get
you
it
this.
mixed. I kind of want to craft something around the song, make it a record first, and then you can go do whatever we're gonna do.
Is
with it
there
after
any
that.
producer or beat maker in the world that is willing to be categorized as just a beat maker and not a producer?
I mean, I'll be
Okay,
honest.
because the reason why I'm saying is that I keep hearing this phrase so much that, a beat maker is just not a producer, right? So now the question is, as a beat maker, and you want to, let's say I was this beat maker, and you want to categorize me as just a beat maker and not a producer, am I okay to be kept in that category as I'm just a beat maker?
I mean,
Okay, well, I must
I
be just a
really-
beat
you know
maker.
what it is?
I'm not a producer.
It really depends on each record and
Yeah,
the role on
and the
each record,
situation, yeah.
because right now I consider myself just a beat maker. I'm just making the beat, they're laying their vocals, and it's getting mixed. But before, when we would be in the studio and I'm directing the session and we're going back and forth with the raps, you know what I'm saying?
That's
now
producing,
producing.
No,
Yeah,
no,
but it's
no.
also just like, I feel like there's some beat makers who don't have any want or need.
That want to produce.
They,
right?
No, they don't want to get in there and work
Right.
on the sessions. They don't. They just make
They
beats, and
don't
that's what
want
they
to touch
do.
instruments.
No.
100%. Yeah. There's definitely people that
They
want to.
don't want to produce vocals.
They don't, they don't want to put input onto that side.
They want to make
No.
their reference and then send it to you, and then you rap on it.
and let someone who knows what they're doing
And
on the
then
board.
my question was,
I
do you
actually
think that
think
there's
that-
anybody willing to just be considered to be called a beat maker?
I don't know.
I actually think that comes from not wanting the financial responsibility of the record.
Right.
That people rather just like, oh, here, I did my part, I made
Yeah.
the beat, here's the
Okay,
thing. I don't want to
great
have
point.
to put in on the session.
Great
I don't
point.
want to have to put in, you can't come to me, get it mixed and mastered.
Great point.
It's yours.
Because you
get
know how
sued,
many
it's
times
you.
I saw running around talking about I'm an executive producer, and Eric was the one to say to me, Menza, just because you are inputting on the record saying who wants to rap and who beat you on doesn't make you an executive producer. The
Oh, no.
person that pays for the
100%.
music and I
That's
actually
executive.
never knew that. But the two words together as a phrase, executive and producer, right? I didn't understand the fact that it had to do with money.
Right.
In the simple fact that I thought I was making executive decisions based on the music.
Right.
Like, hey, use that rapper. Let's choose this beat, okay?
That's A&Ring.
So that's A&Ring.
Yes.
And we know that to be a fact.
Yes.
That's what A&Ring is. So A&Ring is when a person says, "Yo, Nasia, I want you to rap on this beat from DJ Concept, and we're gonna put Fred the Godson on it."
Yes.
That's an A&R. That's
Big
not
Blunts. It's
exactly.
called Big Blunts.
Now it's called Big Blunts, okay? And rest in peace to Fred the Godson.
Rest in
One of
peace.
my-
Take the Benjamins. Right?
Okay.
The record Benjamins.
Produce
Yep.
B-Dot.
Produce D Dot. Missy Elliott
Facts.
A&R that
Yeah.
record and told who was going to rap when and where.
With Kim and the Locks on?
Yeah.
Oh, really?
I heard
I didn't
the
know
Locks
that.
talk
Missy
about that. That's when
Elliott,
they first met her.
absolutely. They said they first time they met her, she goes, "All right, you're gonna rap first, you're gonna rap second," just like that to them. She A&R'd that record.
Okay. So she A&R'd that record. Cool. And then you know what? Like I said, as far as the terminology, then I understood that the person that puts the money in. So really, in what I thought I was as an executive producer, I wasn't in the definition. But I actually still was an executive producer because I was the one paying for the fucking records anyway.
For sure.
So
For sure.
then an A&R can be an executive producer all in one thing then, I
Yeah.
guess, right?
For sure.
Yeah.
I mean,
Okay.
all of us at this table, we embody.
Because
what
I
we-
think the many I think now it's
Yeah,
more
that's
called
You know what
like
I'm saying, all of that.
To be able to
music
put a project
director
together is
now,
like,
right?
I
Like
don't know
you're
about
the
music
music, you
director.
are the music director.
Yes,
I feel like
so,
that's more for like a radio
is that
station.
an A&R?
yeah. Or a label.
That's
I
what,
feel
I'm,
like,
that's
yeah.
what
Or
I'm
a
saying.
label.
We wear, because we have a small staff, we wear many hats. Yes, I have A&R project, coordinated projects, all of that stuff, behind the scenes, all of that stuff. Same
Once
thing
you
with
start doing all of that, then you become a different title.
Right, it's a whole different.
Which is?
So, I mean, yeah, that's where music director kind of makes sense because
Right.
you're directing
Yeah.
all of the music,
Gotcha.
like head of
Gotcha.
music.
And those titles still that they exist now.
Yes,
Yeah.
100%.
But I think they're given out too loosely.
Yes,
Like
there's
you're
no
able
right,
to
there's
be
no
this by
correct
not
meaning
doing-
right now. That's why people are calling themselves A&Rs. People calling themselves CEOs. And
Yeah.
Well, yeah.
What do you
Anyone
think
who
of-
starts a little YouTube company just
Yeah.
goes and goes, "I'm a CEO." Like,
I mean, bro, look, if you
What do you
start an
think?
LLC,
I
you're
guess
the
you are.
CEO of your
You
company, and it costs $300.
I guess on paper.
What do you think of Rock Nation kind of getting into the distribution
seen that?
game heavily?
Yeah, I did
to
see
where
that.
they're doing 8515s, they're offering like label services and stuff like that. Just
to the
based
public.
on the name Rock Nation, everybody. I know a couple of people who kind of was like, "Yo, I
they
signed with Rock
jumping,
Nation." And it's
jumping.
like, "Yo, what are they doing for you?"
Yeah.
It's like, okay, you got to play your music for Rel, but what else is?
Well,
right,
my opinion is that they are embracing a more of a quantity system that has to be done in order to make the streaming side of how little streaming pays
into something.
and into where it has to be done in volume. So, a lot of times these things are what was called invite only. You could only know somebody on the inside and that type of thing. But to go to the public self-help upload systems like DistroKid and TuneCore, there was going to become this fine line of one of these big box entities that is like a
Jump
name
right
brand
into the arena,
to become a self-help public upload system. You know what I'm saying? So is that what you're saying is happening? Because I don't know.
Empire kind of
They
to
did
me,
that?
was at the forefront.
Yep,
so now
absolutely.
it appears that Rock Nation is getting into that
There you
game.
go.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And that's what I mean. So I embrace it because
Yeah.
you know what's gonna start to happen, bro, and you heard it from me right here. What's going to start to happen is that creators are gonna be able to literally take intermediary loans off of their revenue, and systems like that is going to be able to be like, you see how Cash App right now is offering, like, you can take a $250 loan on your Cash App card because they know what's going in and out.
Yeah.
It's going to be the same. So creators
You have to have an account linked to it.
right, an account link and all that is going to be where you're going to be financeable and leverageable to where a creator say, oh, you make $1,000 a month off your shit. Hey, if you need a $2,000 loan, you could do it right
that.
here with inside of
Klarna.
all right?
Right.
All these systems are popping up. So where the self-help comes in, like in the terms of, you know, the layman can just like use a system, upload their music and all that. It then becomes a banking system that just like any kind of like app you have on your phone, you know. And this is what's so crazy to me, bro, is that I've been like, you know, preaching this shit for many years, and
yeah, you have.
Shout out to Erick Sermon and giving me that opportunity to meet with Leo Cohen and be put through that YouTube school and the fucking best practices, because I learned what digital assets really are. When he made that term to me, he said, "You're a digital asset manager." I never heard that before. Like, holy shit, a digital asset manager as opposed to like an asset manager. You know what I mean? So.
Even in looking at something digital to be an asset, that something digital can be an asset.
And when we understood digital, we just didn't understand that how much of it.
Yes.
It is, but you know what's so crazy, bro, is that when I mentioned the term digital assets, people think I'm talking about crypto. And I'm like, no, I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about the revenue that you earn off of a link that somebody watches or views. Because, and I explain to people, this device in your hand, you either listen to or watch something off of this device. Wow. Anytime you watch or view or listen to anything, somebody's getting paid on the digital side of that.
It can't be worth $1,800 for a device if it's not recouping somehow. Absolutely. They can't hit you for $1,800. It's more than laptops used to not even be $1,800, and now your phone is $1,800.
Yo, bro, the phone.
Crazy. People have to have
my
one.
bill is
but they give it to you for free.
Yeah.
Company lines and multiple lines. My bill is
man. We can talk about this.
How do you like when you want to say like shout out to somebody, but you don't want to shout them out? You want to be like, but you don't want to say it's like that's. I don't want to shout out T-Mobile. I want to be like fuck T-Mobile, but I don't want to be so like vulgar about it.
Don't get into it. Just to ignore it
until they come with a check.
Silence.
All right.
You know what's funny is that what I noticed is that, you know, obviously I had the opportunity to sit with Lior, right?
Yeah, I seen that the other day.
It's like just the ignorant people that are like, oh, culture vulture and stuff like that.
Why they gotta say that to you? Because you took a picture with them? They're wilding.
But at the end of the day, right? It's like, first of all, since when did people fuck with Dame Dash like that? Not to say that I fuck with Dame heavy, but since when everybody chose the J side of the J Dame. So now we're pro Dame because he don't like Lior. Second, who do you think put Jay-Z in position to move from Dame? It was Lior.
Right.
So why wouldn't you want to be next to or have a convo with somebody that's that powerful and has been that successful in this business?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? By no means,
I get it.
You know what I mean? Like, and even if I did, like, okay, I'm a culture vulture. You want a job?
Right, and what?
Right.
I'll give you a job paying this. I bet you can work for me.
Yo, that one term in particular just hurts me because it's always correlated with, you know, a white guy. And in the sense of where I don't consider, I mean, I'm Sicilian. I'll consider myself a white man, like an American white man. However, when you get lumped into that, if you are benefiting off the hip hop culture and you are a Caucasian, that you are a culture vulture. And that's where I've made it such a point in my career to prove a point that how much we give back. You know what I mean? Like how much we make a point to give back to these men that started this culture.
With the culture vulture thing, right? You have, that comes from Lior's Breakfast Club interview where he kind of was like, whatever, said that he's capitalizing off of the death that hip hop at that time was preaching.
Right.
That, like, you know, he was with selling it because he got to eat.
Got you.
That, you know, can give the wrong impression of
But that was
your
was
intention.
James' opinion of him, or that whole setup, the Def Jam setup type of thing of this.
Yes.
So the culture vulture definition came from the white executives, basically. You know what I mean? That was just like raping and pillaging the culture as they.
It's not a specific hip hop term, culture vulture.
It's not.
No.
Yeah, no.
It's pretty much
it came into hip hop.
It came into hip hop, but it's a known term. Any type of culture where someone is taking advantage of it, you're a culture.
Yeah.
So Kevin Lyles is a culture vulture. Russell Simmons is a culture vulture.
I know. So how about this though?
Because
is hip hop a culture vulture on the Italian American mafia scenario and styles?
No, because we didn't profit off of
that.
We just use the terminology.
They're trying to say that, you know what I mean? They kind of like made entertainment about sending this thing like it's like entertainment.
Right.
You know, almost like on that grand scheme of things, and it is referencing a certain time.
Right.
Like
Yes.
almost like gestures, like your court gestures, but it can't be that if this isn't that kind of entertainment.
Well, bro, you know, and when Kwame was running around with polka dots, like it did kind of seem that way at some point in, you know, as the earlier, you know, culture was being exploited in that sense, and those types of guys were at the forefront of those types of acts, type of thing. You know what I mean?
Right.
So, regardless of which, I don't agree with it with the term, and I certainly know that we're not, but. You know, just to be able to post a picture with somebody who is so prominent. The guy's the global president of YouTube. Okay.
And so I laugh at stuff like that because it's like, yo, okay. So you wouldn't go sit with
right? Like you wouldn't go to the meeting or something.
Going to
come
sit
on,
with,
man.
I mean, you know what I mean?
Would you,
fucking whatever.
Would you argue that some of these people are just
like,
claiming shit like that, like culture vultures, because they ain't in the position?
I think it's trying to go viral. You're trying to be that post.
No, I think that
likes.
people are so like twisted in this world at this point that
I think,
no matter what good news you might have,
definitions have. It's not. I don't like to say words have lost meanings, but some definitions have got lost in the sauce.
Yeah,
where there is a specific whole checklist to be a culture vulture.
Yeah, for sure.
But at this point, they're just seeing a white guy in hip hop and going culture vulture.
Culture vulture. That's a culture vulture.
No, culture vulture. You white in hip hop, culture vulture.
But you know, I'll be honest with you.
How did we get here?
Leo Cohen. Leo Cohen. So it's like.
Yeah, no,
you know,
that he was with Leo Cohen the other day in a nice meeting with Erick Sermon.
Got to sit down at his table and discuss the direction of artificial intelligence and music. And it's like, yo, the fact that I was even allowed to sit down in this man's house.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Like, you don't even know a person who knows a person that's done that. So, you know what I mean? That's why I was like, yo, I gotta start telling my story.
Right.
Great conversations tonight.
Yeah, absolutely.
We really got into it.
Yeah, no, it was a
we
great
didn't listen to so much music. Are we gonna still play a little music?
I mean, you know,
fade out, bro.
You know, we're like a half hour
fade out
over the show.
But
we'll play a 10 minutes, 5-10 minutes.
Yeah, no one cares.
Yeah,
a song or something. You know what I mean?
Yo, Boogie, we appreciate you coming through.
Yeah, no, I appreciate y'all, man. You know,
man.
usually behind the scenes, so it was great to
it's
break
good,
bread
it's
and
good
build.
to hear you express yourself, brother.
Yeah.
Yo, look out for that Boogie Nights. Look out for that dynamic duo.
Boogie Nights. You know what I mean? I put my best into it, my best for now. Obviously, some of the songs are old, and I got the shit that I got now is better than that. But I'm just gonna be consistent with releasing music, man. I work too hard to not let people, you know, hear where I'm at.
Absolutely,
what I'm doing.
bro.
100%.
Your journey's been ill. You're welcome here anytime.
I appreciate
Yo,
it.
what up, Twitches? The Bash Brothers, Boston Hip Hop, and we are gonna fade out right now.
Peace.
Mickey Knox gotta play some
Yo,
music.
stay relevant. No, real quick.
Yeah.
I want to touch on, man. One thing that we didn't touch on while we were speaking is like, yo,
All
just
right.
the brand, man.
Relevant?
Yeah.
Okay.
And that allowed me to transition to music.
Yo, like I
Between
said,
that
bro,
and the
when I
studio.
seen 50 wearing this shit, I said, my
Yeah.
man, I was like, yo, he made.
Yo.
I'm like, the next
My
thing he's gonna do is
favorite
call me
rapper.
with $1 million check.
I thought so too. Shout out to my man Porter. But
shout out
I
to
remember
Porter.
getting a call in the morning. I'm on the train on my way to work, and my phone's blowing up, and I'm like, "What the fuck is going on?"
Yeah.
And then,
Yo.
you know, he texts me. He's like, "Yo, you seen it?" I'm like, "Yo, what?" And then he sent me the picture. He's like, "Yo, my man just sent me the picture." I got to Penn Station and I bought every daily news that was there, and went to work. And I got it laminated at the crib.
Nice.
But to see my favorite rapper.
Right.
In my
He
hat.
is your favorite rapper,
Yeah, that's
bro.
a
Like,
fact.
it's crazy.
He's like on the top of my list, and to see him wear it to court,
yeah.
I'm like, boom. And then, you know, he wore it a couple other places, so I'm like, yo, that's crazy. But
And then that came about because you were dealing with a PR lady, right? Or something like that?
we knew. Shout out to Primo. You know, Primo was just, you know, doing business with 50's right hand man, El Dorado. Shout out to El.
Gotcha.
Who's right next to Fifth still to this day. So Primo, you know, saw what we were doing with the hats.
And we're not talking about DJ Premier.
Yeah, Big Primo, I think is his name. And he saw what we were doing with the hats. He was promoting it. And he was a big club promoter. And you know, so he had the opportunity. He was at I believe it was at the I'm the Man video shoot. of
Right.
demos in the video.
Right. I remember it was a video
the
shoot,
hat
and it's
in
like
there.
he grabbed it quick. Somebody
Well-
like handed it to him or something, and
Well,
he was
in
like,
the video, he's moving around with a gun, and then he gets shot. But at that video shoot, we gave him a couple more, and he threw it in the back seat. Like, he gave it to him. He said, "Yo, put it in the back seat." And he was out at the club and went to court, and boom, relevant hat.
wow.
You know, so me and my man had a brand for
Crazy,
years,
bro.
and we're going back to 2011.
Yeah, no, it's 15, bro. This when I first met you, and the relevant shit was like relevant.
So
like,
we
like,
had the
I
studio.
still rock that hat.
We had me too.
Fire,
People
bro.
always send me the pictures.
The girl
and
I
stuff.
was seeing
No, the shit that I
at the
fucked
time
with was-
has the hat.
Yo, the shit that we fucked with was the ocean spray joint.
The wavy.
Yeah.
Oh, the wavy shit.
yeah,
I got that.
The
I
highlight.
got. I got that gray one.
Yeah, they had the
Yo,
they had
man,
the gray.
come on,
I
you
still
gotta-
got one of
that
every
shit got to
one.
get back on the market, man.
Yeah, I was about to do. I wanted to put together a photo shoot for Boogie Nights where I did it like Ray and Ghost with the Wallies.
Yeah.
Okay.
I mean,
the relevant hat.
Yeah.
Yeah, just like,
So,
but that's where I made a lot of the
All right.
connections. So between the studio, my
Yeah.
man was shooting the videos, and we had a brand.
yeah, you
So
definitely
like,
did.
you know, there's not many people that are doing music on the island that I haven't rubbed shoulders
Oh, no,
with
bro,
or
that's a
had a
fact.
convo with.
Yo,
with
look,
some-
shout out
for
to
the
you for
studio.
Feeve. I wouldn't know who he was until you
Yeah,
introduced
the
me
cover,
to him.
Yep.
You know what I
I
mean?
remember that. That was on the. We put that on the relevant.
Hell yeah.
Relevant radio tape.
Yeah.
Word.
Yeah, Feeve is somebody that
Yo,
you were
see him
rocking with
tomorrow.
like since early
The
days,
bar
bro.
exam
Like,
days.
Yeah.
The bar exam days.
Bar exam, that's a
So
fact.
it's like it's always love. That's my brother. He came through on my tape. You know what I'm saying? And
Yeah.
he killed it. It's a record with him and Pills.
Dope.
That shit is mean.
Dope.
You know what I'm saying? That song always gets.
Yeah,
the
I wish we
reaction.
could have heard one
I
song.
really like that
Like,
you're giving Pills a lot of shine, man.
Yo,
He
it's-
deserves it, bro.
it's-
He
one of
definitely
those things
deserves it,
that-
bro. I got mad love for Pillsbury, bro.
always had a relationship. I remember meeting him at Long Island Music Awards.
Yeah.
And I remember going there that year, and like our whole team cleaned up that time. Like Porter won Videographer of the Year. Keita won an award. Shout out to
Yo.
Keita. Enzo performed.
Yo,
Like we walked out with all the awards, and it was one of those things where, you know, Pills has just always been
Yeah.
nice.
yo, bro.
I actually was in the studio first time with him for Type Bill.
Oh, words.
It was a
What?
Type Bill record. I think it was called 6 a.m. or 5 a.m. with him
Crazy.
and Mike Mills.
Wow. I forgot about
Yeah. Pills came through, and that's when we
Right.
built the relationship, and then we linked back up.
Yo,
and did a bunch of records.
one of the things that Pills did for us, and that we will always be forever grateful. And like we told him when he came here, he said, anything you need, anything you want, we'll always help you with. So he gave us a record that he did with Jadakiss.
Yeah.
You know,
Remember that.
he got locked up shortly thereafter. But in our early career, to be able to say that we had a record that we
Jada record.
put
Yeah.
out a record that had Jadakiss on
Oh,
it
yeah, sure.
was like, and I said to Mickey at the time, like, yo, he really gonna let us do? And he was like, yo, he's my man. You know, I'm like, wow, like it was like that was such a dope gesture. You know what I'm saying? Like, and like still to this day, now that he's at where he's at, it's like whatever that man needs from us,
Yeah, we
you
take
tell
it.
Pillsbury we got him. You know what I'm saying?
Or what he needs you to do is just go
Word
check
up.
out that Boogie Nights.
Word.
episode 1.
Yeah.
He on there like 4 times, and you know, it's one of those things where, you know, if the artist was hungry, let's work.
Yeah.
So, you know,
Yeah.
and we got other records.
I
in the
meant to
cut,
ask
so
you
it
what's
was
up with
like-
Wise.
I haven't talked to Wise, man.
Oh, okay.
But, you know, we do have that project that's out
Yeah,
there.
that was a dope project.
You know, it was
I would
dope,
love
man.
I would love
Yeah.
to see that come out one day.
Yeah, I mean, well, it is out. Yeah. The
Oh,
project's out.
so-
I forget
The
the
P-Wise
name.
project,
Yeah,
The
Know My
one that
Name.
you was working at Death Squad, the
Yeah.
whole thing?
Yeah, Know My Name
Yeah,
was the
that's
first
out.
Oh, I'm
single.
sorry.
Yeah,
I
yeah,
apologize.
nice. And I got a lot of great feedback to where people's like, all right, what else you got?
I just remember the sound that you was on right then and there.
That's what I'm
Was
saying.
on some real grimy shit, and
I
Wise
listened
was,
to it, and I'm like, yo, that's crazy. Like, I'm glad that I did something, so it timestamps that it kind of I can go back and listen
Sure,
to it and
bro.
know exactly that
That's
was
a-
like
that's
the
a good
beginning
point.
of everything.
Crazy.
It's true. It's
You know
true.
what I mean?
But I didn't realize you actually put it out. Yeah.
Yeah, it was out for a while.
No,
we
no doubt.
dropped 2 singles.
Well, shout out
Eric's
to
on
Wise,
the first
man,
one.
wherever-
Eric's on the
wherever
first
he's at.
single.
Shout
Know
out
My
to
Name.
Wise. Yeah, I remember.
Yeah, that was the one with the
the single I knew came out.
The pinned up pictures in the
concept,
cover.
Yo,
Yeah.
let me tell you something. This
Yeah.
guy
Yo, this
is
guy's the
super
Vernia
consistent.
cover, right?
That's a fact.
Yeah.
And the duos
Them
cover.
duos.
You know what I mean?
Get out of here!
Anytime there's a request for artwork, he's the first person I hit. And I say, like,
Yo,
yo,
bro.
man.
DJ
you know,
Concept did the duo's artwork.
That's what we do.
My man.
That's a fact.
what we do.
Shout out to us.
BooGeyMan.
Shout out to us, he says.
Yo, good looks for coming through.
Nah, good looks for
What
having me,
a,
man. Good looks
what
for
a
having me.
convo tonight, man.
Yeah.
Are you gonna play music?
All right, yes.
Yeah, if you stop talking, you play music.
All right, I'm out.
Peace
Good
out.
shit,
Appreciate
bro.
y'all.
Lost in
Love.
Hip Hop, Mickey Knox, Concept, Men's our guest, Boogie Nights, brought to you by Ewing Athletics. We'll be back next week. Check us out on YouTube, subscribe, like, share, all of that.
Oh, yeah.